Hi, Anti-Society! Welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are watching the Studio Ghibli film Kiki's Delivery Service. So I know that you guys have been asking me over the last little bit over on the Discord anyway to do some other movie reactions, and I know that a little while ago, actually a bit of a while ago, we did Spirited Away, which is one of the Studio Ghibli films I have not seen. You can probably guess that I'm a huge Studio Ghibli fan, considering that, like, just lots of Totoro in my life. But Spirited Away was one of the films that I had not seen before. It was an emotional roller coaster. It was really, really good. And I loved getting to a chance to sit down and see that film. And another one of the big Studio Ghibli films that I have not seen is Kiki's Delivery Service. I see like pictures from it and like references to it. I know that there's like a cat there's like a cat in it that's like always around in stuff about Kiki. I don't know a whole lot about it. I know that it has something to do with, like, I think Kiki is a witch. It's like a big part of who her character is, but I don't have a lot of context for what this film is actually about, which is usually how I go into these movie reactions. But I thought it would be a fun movie reaction to do with you guys. I know that there are some other films that people have suggested to me, but Ghibli is always like a nice, warm feeling that I always get when I watch the films, even if I usually cry a little bit. Let's just get into Kiki's Delivery Service. In 3, 2, 1, go. Studio Ghibli. I do have tissues within reach because who knows if this will make me cry or not. It could. It might not. But there's a high chance that it will. I'm also unfazed by bees. I know some people freak out about them, but wasps, I totally understand. Bees, I understand if you're like allergic. Obviously, you would be cautious around them, but most of the time, people overreact. Bees are like mostly cute, in my opinion. Ghibli films are always beautiful. See the cat. Uh-oh. At least the liquid didn't start spilling into the beaker. "13. What an age to be." So her mom is a healer of some kind? Aw. Oh no. Oh. So was she just like leaving home entirely? So she's just like leaving home? This is so cute though. I feel like I'm just sitting here smiling because I'm just like overwhelmed by how wholesome this is. So is that like what witches do? They go to like different towns and they become healers? I'm assuming. Disco. What a way to age a film is to talk about discos. Not getting lost in a storm is a good idea. I was gonna say, betrayed by the cat. I've always wondered why witches fly on broomsticks. Like what the where the myth comes from, because it seems like an impractical mode of transportation. Ooh, bit of a rough start. Hoping that we'll be okay. Not the most graceful exit, but a little bit unsteady, but s- still, still flying. That's just what's important. Oof, brave cat. Music definitely has an older feel to it. Interesting that this film starts with like immediately leaving kind of the familiar. At least in my experience, Ghibli films tend to start with kind of the extraordinary meeting the familiar. Like they tend to be like a mixture of kind of the uncanny with it in like the main character's comfort zone. Even if they like move to a new place, there's still like a sense of comfort with like family and stuff like that. Like Spirited Away, they were moving to a new town, but she was still with her family, and then Totoro, they moved to a new house, but they're still with their family. Whereas this is like Kiki being completely on her own, except for possibly this witch, other witches around. She seems like a little bit superior. She still seems nice though. A little bit of superior attitude, the way. But still nice enough. Like wasn't super unpleasant, which is nice. Go inside the train. Ooh, grace is not one of her things, is it? As someone who's also fairly clumsy, I'm also in that boat. Able to make home just about anywhere. I wonder why this train is dormant, just sort of in the middle of the track. Oh, never mind then. We're on the move again, which may or may not be a good thing for Kiki. I mean, I guess she doesn't have like a specific location, does she? She's just sort of wandering around, I'm assuming, to find different witches and learn different skills to find her like specialty. Oh. I was gonna say, is she gonna get pulled through the mesh? I was gonna ask how her bow was staying on, but then I remembered it's like anime logic. Ooh, I was gonna say maybe I was gonna be like, hey, a smoother takeoff this time, but not quite. Just like she wished for. I do like that she has like the radio, which is like a very like modern thing in contrast to like being a witch and like the broomstick and stuff like that. Like there's something kind of like out of the present tense of that concept. Like being a witch feels very much like almost historical because it's like based in myth and legend and stuff like that. And then to have like the radio is like a very interesting contrast between like tradition and like modern technology. Like how Gigi is always like unimpressed. People also seem to know what like a witch is, which like partly that's just like people knowing that they exist. It's like a common knowledge, but I wonder what kind of like fame is wrapped up with that and responsibility. Like what does it mean to be the witch of like a town or a city? Oh no. Maybe not the best first impression to cause a traffic accident. And like, wouldn't it be a ton of work to be like the only witch in a huge city? You're not talking to the right people though. You can't just ask random people on the street if you can be the witch of their city, I'm assuming. You probably have to go to somebody of authority. She's probably gonna move. I'm just saying. She's probably gonna get out of the ticket. I just feel like she has like this very like innocent like optimism of what it's gonna be to like be a witch and like be important and be in a big city, and then I also feel like it's gonna get crushed a little bit. Like it's not gonna be what she thought it was gonna be. She gonna make a friend? Oh, We're a bit superior now, aren't we? He does not seem deterred. But why not make a friend? He seems nice enough. Oh dear. I guess that's a thing too. Like, when you're 13, you're not an adult. So, like, how do you survive on your own? Like, find somewhere to stay, have something to eat. She's not exactly inconspicuous either, given the broomstick and the flying around in the sky. I assume she'd be better off in a city where there were other witches that could, like, train her or vouch for her, and if she could get support from them. Whereas, like, she's on her own. Like, does she know how to do healing? Does she know spells? What's her what constitutes being a witch? Are we gonna help? I really hope that that woman knew that she was a witch and didn't just like allow a child to jump off of a ledge. I would have panicked. Even if it did seem like she was a witch, I would have panicked anyway. Aw, I like that she got to do a nice thing. Is she gonna get help from the bakery lady? Is that the delivery service? Is she gonna deliver stuff for the bakery? I'm glad that she found some nice people. It's so intimidating to like go to a new place and not know anybody. I did that when I went to university. I only knew like a couple of people. That it's just like this huge city, and I'm used to living in like, you know, surrounded by farms and knowing a lot of people in the area and stuff like that. To just like being in a huge city is so intimidating. Oof. Could use a little work though. Still, doesn't mean you can't make it into a nicer place, a more homey place to stay. It just isn't gonna be right away. Which I guess makes sense if it's like an attic and they weren't like necessarily expecting to have somebody stay there. Oh, it's a little dusty. Still not so bad. Could have been worse. There's a white kitty. I think I like Gigi. the like the sass. You should always surround yourself by people who are willing to accept you for who you are. Life lesson. That is the one thing about cities, though. There's so many people that like it can be intimidating, but like also it opens up the opportunity to meet people that like legitimately connect with you in a way that like in a small town you kind of have to like settle for who's there. There's something very like I don't know, urban in my brain about a house that like has all these layers and like the arch hallway like over the like where the car is parked and stuff because like it I don't know, it almost makes the house feel like it's in isolation, but it's also like compact, like it's in like closed quarters, which is a very like city thing, even though it has a bit of a I don't know, isolated on its own feeling to it. Like a small world within a bigger world. He looks less pleased that there are guests and a little bit of a show off. I like to glance over to see if Gigi was dazzled. Okay, but don't knock her over. Aw. I also like that Gigi is like has kind of the sass, but is also like ultimately shy. See, it's already starting to look more like home. Well, you should close the door when you leave, though. And watch out for cars. Look both ways before crossing the street. Goodness gracious. My like mom mode came out so strong there. She seems determined not to make friends, which seems odd to me, with like people her own age. It's almost as if like she can't have that part of her childhood because she's trying to like be an adult, like running a business and like buying groceries and finding somewhere to live and all of that. So she doesn't have the same like freedom that other people her age have. They seem a little bit rowdy. I don't think he was actually trying to make fun of her. I think that might be how she took it, though. I think he's just trying to be nice and he thinks that witches are cool and interesting. Careful. Oh, darling. You have to get better about closing the door when you leave places. Gigi. I love how excited Gigi was about the cup that had the cat on it. Oh no, has he found where she lives? I'm sure that'll only turn out well. I guess it would be easier to like read a map the higher you are. Seems to be getting the hang of being on the broom though. I'm just enjoying the playful music. I don't know. We have a lot of geese in my part of the world, and they're kind of evil. Just saying. Canada geese, they're a lot to deal with. They make a lot of noise. Uh oh. Kiki! Oh no, the delivery! But also don't fall. Ooh, she really does crash into trees a lot, doesn't she? Oh no, the nest! Be careful. It looks like whatever was inside of the cage isn't there anymore, though. Like, wasn't there the little cat? It doesn't look like it's there anymore. Uh oh. Are they all gonna rise up against her? Who would have thought the geese would have been nice out of all the birds? Oh no! Her broom! Oh no! Oh no, is Gigi gonna have to pretend to be the toy? Oh, I hope that this is a child that plays nicely with their toys because kids can be a little bit uh rough with their toys. Did they not close the door too? Oh no, he's holding Chi by the tail. Poor thing. You'd better come back and rescue Chi. Oh no. Completely forgotten were the birds. Oh no. I hope it's a nice dog. A dog that we can make friends with, despite being a cat. Did someone else find it? It was also nice. Nobody closes their doors. Why does no one have their door closed? Ooh, a painter. Like, especially if you live out in the middle of the forest, any kind of animal could just, like, wander in. It's a good drawing, though. Uh-oh. Okay, but why is this something I would do, though? Just living in the middle of, like, a forest, painting and drawing. I also know how to sew. The ponytail. I'm just saying. At least he seemed to be enjoying the little cat toy and not completely forgotten about it. Oh no. Definitely not conspicuous. Oh, at least it seems like a kind puppy. Aw, could have gone a lot worse. Aw, I like that she was really nice too. That's the thing about Ghibli films. There's always just a bunch of people who are like legitimately just kind, which is nice. Oh, is the puppy gonna help return Gigi? We do like the dog. It's a good boy. I like the really like slow brass music for this dog too. Still successful first delivery. Aw, I like that they made a little sign and they put Gigi in it too. Look at him pacing around too, the like baker, pretending he's not worried, but he is. Aw, did he make the sign? That's cute. I don't know what his name is. I feel like I'm just like this film is just like warm and fuzzy as of right now, and it's just making me incredibly happy. I feel like I'm just sitting here smiling because it's just like it just has a nice atmosphere to it. See what I mean though? Like that is kind of like a moment of like that could be something that she was doing if she didn't have to like work and be independent and like figure out how to like be an adult at 13. A little melodramatic. There are worse things to have to eat all the time than pancakes. Oh, it's the lady from the window. Okay. Aw, why are we not making friends? You can at least try to say hello. Could be fun. Aw, the Switch, that's cute. Oof. I mean, it's okay to have help too. I know she's supposed to be trying to be independent, but sometimes you just need somebody to help you out. Oh, oh, oh. And like trying to balance it out too. You know what I mean? Like work and then also like trying to like go out and do social things. Been there. I still don't understand how I got through like university and working and having friends and everything. I don't know how I had time. I also understand as like a someone who freelances, I also understand like having no work and then suddenly having a bunch of work because that happens to me all the time. Still, the broomstick skills way better now. Proud of her. Didn't run into any trees this time. It's a big house though. I can't remember, just like, you're so cute. Is she trying to use the broomstick? Is she going to help? Oh, is she gonna help instead of going to the party? Oh, I think she just gives up picking it up because that'd be me too. I'd be like, I'll come back for it. I agree. See, this at least is like how you would make a fire. A lot of the times in movies, people make fires, they build fires in the weirdest ways, and I'm like, that's not how you do it. I used to help build fires when we went camping as a kid, so 5 o'clock, we still have time to make it to the party. It takes a while for a pie to bake, though. Oh no. Interesting to have like, someone named Bertha, though, in a Japanese film. I was thinking, I'm like, trying to figure out where the placement is because the names and like signs for stuff isn't in like Japanese. It doesn't look like the bakery doesn't have like kanji or hiragana writing. I do like that Bertha was like, be careful because that would be me. Oh no. The rain too. That means she's gonna show up to the party like soaked through. I hope she doesn't get sick. See, like that sign says hotel, which makes me think that the setting isn't necessarily Japan. I guess it doesn't have to be if she's like flown to another city. Oh, is he gonna come and try and pick her up, take her to the party? She's not gonna be there. Oh, her bow is even like all drooped. Hey, you should be much nicer. Well, that is unnecessary. Even if you don't like the pie, you should be thankful that she put in the work. I hope that that's not the party that she got invited to. Because if it is, it's gonna be awkward. Is he worried again? Aw. But do you want to go? Aw. I guess she doesn't have another change of clothes either because all of her money is towards like buying food. So can Gigi only talk to Kiki? Like, does Gigi just sound like a normal cat to everybody else? See, I was worried that she would get sick from being out in the rain. Do cats eat uh oatmeal? Maybe not. Thing about being sick too is like you can't work. Not really. Especially like if you have to be like active and stuff. I guess like I can kind of work because I like work from home, but most of the time no. And then if you can't work, then that causes a bunch of other problems in your life. Ooh. Not The best cook? Are we going to meet the other cat? Introductions? Maybe the other cat is also shy. Is it the boy? So they did make friends after a bit of a rocky start. Maybe symbolic of Kiki becoming friends with this boy that she met, who's been nice to her. Look at the gardens, though. I love gardens, so I always like the nature scenes that are in Ghibli films. Are always dazzling to me. I knew it. I also think that Osuna planned it. We're trying to make a flag bike. I feel like it'd be hard to see though with the propeller right in front of your face, but really? I mean, it's probably easier to like be a passenger on a bike than to like learn to like actually ride one. Seems like a lot of work though. It'd be faster downhill though. I feel like it's like super dangerous to have this like really fast propeller like directly in front of your face. But maybe that's just my mom energy coming out again. Yeah, you gotta lean with it. Careful though. Uh-oh. Hey, it sort of flies. But like, be careful. We've discussed this. Be careful. Uh-oh. Ooh, neither of those helmets either. Very worried. Are we all right? Uh, the post-scary moment giggles. I wonder what her specialty in magic's gonna be, though. If we'll find out. Is it gonna be flight? Because there's lots of talk about that. Between, like, her flying, the bike, the Zeppelin. Oh, I'm glad they're friends. That they made friends with each other. No? Is it because they're. Is it because they're, like, in their nice clothes and stuff? But it's okay to have fun sometimes, too. Be very careful walking along the street, though. Especially around a corner. This is a far more like urban setting that I'm used to in Ghibli films too. Like obviously there's like the sea and there is like nature and stuff, but there tends to be more like I don't know, magic and nature spirits and stuff. This one seems far more like rooted in reality. Like even her being like a witch isn't like a super big part. Like she can fly on a broom and like being a witch is like something that people acknowledge her as, but it's not like she's doing something super magical. She's just like delivering, but she's doing it on a broomstick instead of like a bike or a car. Okay, but I totally get the feeling of just like not wanting to be around people anymore. As an introvert, that happens to me all the time. I'll be like, I don't know how to tell you that you're a great friend, but I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't want to hang around you right now. It also seems like Gigi's kind of found their own thing, their own way of fitting in to this new world. Especially since they like weren't speaking like they normally do. That's what I was saying. Why aren't we talking like a human anymore? Is she losing her magic? Is that what's happening? Uh oh. Oh dear. I wonder why. I don't really know what the extent of like. I mean, I guess I could talk about like the symbolism of magic as opposed to like how the magic actually works within world. Because if I was gonna guess what the magic symbolized, I would say it was like youth and whimsy and like kind of that childish wonder, right? When you're like younger and you fully believe in magic, and it's like okay for you to believe in magic. I know her broom, but then like when you're an adult, you have to like leave that part of your like imagination and like wonder behind. So I'm assuming that she's like becoming too much of an adult and she's kind of like losing that whimsical part of herself. And that's like resulting in her losing her magic. He speaks briefly. Oh, oh, Kiki, don't push away the one friend you have. Poor thing. Ooh, is it artist girl coming to visit? Oh, I like that she came to visit. Uh-oh. Unenthused. Maybe reconnecting with nature. It was just like what I was talking about, where I was like, it's very like urban compared to like usually what Ghibli films are, which are very like nature based or like being um like communicating with nature and like spirits of nature and stuff is very important to like balancing out energies and stuff. Ooh, it's a lot of gumballs. The giant backpack too. Just like brought everything she could possibly think of with her. I also think like leaving is like taking a break from work, right? Like feeling like she doesn't have to be independent and working all the time. I hope that taking a break helps with her magic. I hope they've forgiven the the supposed egg thief. Very mythical. I wonder if it does represent like a legend, though. I don't recognize it if it does. A Pegasus of some kind? That's what I've always thought of. I always think of drawing like magic, because that's just illusions. You're making someone think that they're seeing something when they aren't. Just a lot of like sleight of hand and magic and stuff like that. It's true. Sometimes you just need to remember why you love something. I have the two as like someone who writes and paints and draws as like a living. That, when it's a job, sometimes you forget why you love it, and you kind of have to take a break and remember why it's important to you besides being a job. And I feel like that's kind of what she's like with flying. Flying, like she said, like flying became a job, and she kind of lost the joy of it. I've also had it where like you just give up on a painting, or you like finish something and it's not what was in your brain, so it's like frustrating. Aw, I hope she's okay though. Aw, a present for them? Aw, that's so sweet. Uh-oh. I hope everyone's okay though. Oh dear. Is that how we're gonna figure out how to fly again? Because we need to save him? Because we need to save him. I hope her broom is fixed. Or maybe she'll fly without it. If it's just her spirit, then I guess she doesn't need the broom necessarily to fly. Or she could use the bike. Is the bike in repair? You better hold on though. Oh wow, that is. I mean, at least it didn't land somewhere more tragic. This took a turn really quickly from like warm and fuzzy to potential tragedy. Are you gonna take his broom? You got this. I believe in you. This is your moment. Prove yourself as a witch. But also, like, friendship. Ooh, but carefully. Does this mean that her friend's gonna be able to experience what it's like to fly? I'm just saying. If she manages it. Because there's gonna be a bunch of weight if there's two people trying to fly too. Ooh, that police officer's gonna come for you again if you keep doing that. I don't know if threatening it'll work, but that's one way to get it to cooperate. Uh-oh. Cool shot though. Of like following her like through the street. I start to focus on things like framing and camera movement when I'm stressed about what's going on. You had better save him. Like, I can feel myself about to cry. This movie became very stressful very quickly. It was like super like chill, and I was like, this is just nice and cozy, and I like being part of this. And then it got really stressful for me. He's gonna be telling that story forever. Be like, that was my broom. Uh oh. Uh huh. Oh, I'm like, I'm not gonna be in tears for this film. It's fine. And then I got to the end, and I'm like, oh no, I'm emotional. Oh, I like that she has like all of her friends. Is she still flying on the other broom though? Didn't she say she was gonna give it back? like that he got his little plane too. Gigi looks a little worn out being a parent. I always feel so happy at the end of Ghibli film. Just sitting here just being like, this is nice. Definitely different feeling from what I'm used to with Ghibli films though. Aw, little girl dressed up like her. She famous now. Is the fashion designer woman gonna make her a nice outfit like she dreamed of when she looks at the in the shop? Oh, aw. Still's the radio. Oh, that was so nice. Even if it made me really emotional right at the end. It's fine though. Well, I will admit that the ending of that film got me a little bit stressed out. Overall, that was like just a really cozy feeling film. I don't know how else to describe it except to say cozy. I feel like there were lots of times in that film where like I was just sitting there smiling because I'm like, this is just so wholesome and like there's something so innocent in it too. Like the fact that it was just mostly like it was more self-contained. Like I feel like sometimes with like Ghibli films there's like external conflict that is used to like mirror more abstract things like feelings and going through certain phases in your life. A lot of like Ghibli films are about like the transition between like childhood and growing up and stuff like that. But also like I was talking about like the difference between like the whimsical and kind of the reality. And I feel like this film was more about letting those abstract conflicts just be. I feel like it was far more rooted in reality than a lot of other Ghibli films that I've seen, which, you know, I don't think is necessarily good or bad either way. I feel like it's just like a different way of telling the story than I'm used to with films like this, but I feel like it was still able to communicate those really well, like using magic as this kind of more symbolic thing of being true to like kind of who you are and knowing where you come from and not letting kind of having to change and grow up and be independent change fundamentally who you are. Like I feel like that's kind of where it came from. I thought maybe it would be more about like youth, and I think that it is to some extent because I feel like a lot of the time we think of growing up being like leaving behind who you were as a child, but that's not really what it is. Like I feel like if you talk to anyone who's like grown up, they're going to talk about how they don't feel like there's like any kind of big moment where they became a grown up. They feel like a child who's just kind of has a bunch of responsibilities now they have to figure out what to do with. I feel like magic is kind of more about being true to like the soul of who you are, the fundamental of who you are, and not letting like work and being independent and having to like pay for living somewhere and food and like having all these other worries like take that away from you. There was also some good imagery of like balancing between like work and being independent, and then also like having friends and getting help from people and stuff like that. I think it can be difficult sometimes when you're like, I want to be a grown up, I want to be independent, I want to be able to do things myself. And I'm totally like that. Like, I'm the kind of person who, like, I'm going to try and do it myself. I'm going to suffer through trying to do it myself. And then, like, eventually have to be like, I just have to admit defeat and be like, I need help with this. So I feel like that was a really interesting theme to incorporate into this too, of just like Kiki being determined to do something on her own, to be independent, to be good at her job, and like find her job and find her like thing that made her special as a witch, and then having to ultimately help a friend make a friend, needing that guidance from the girl that lived in the forest, the painter, needing that guidance at a time when like she was losing the fundamental of who she was. She was losing her magic. She wasn't the same person that she was anymore. So lots of like really, I think, complex and abstract things to incorporate into like what is essentially like a children's film, though I know Ghibli films are always kind of on the edge of like what is a children's film and what is just like, I always say paintings in motion, because they always seem like that to me. It always feels like I'm watching like a painting come to life in front of me, especially like having those more abstract ideas and not symbolizing them through like magical elements. We can talk about Spirited Away, which I've already watched on the channel, where we had lots of stuff about growing up and like work in a similar way, but there was also all of the symbolism with how magic was working and stuff like that. I will say this though, I don't know if this is my favorite Ghibli film. I feel like part of why I love Ghibli films is the magical element of it, like this very like whimsical, almost magic realism kind of feeling that they have to them. And in Spirited Away, we're like in a completely different world almost for most of it. So that is something that I really like about Ghibli films, and this one not really leaning into that magic element was a bit of a surprise, partly because of it being a Ghibli film, but also because the main character is a witch. Like, she's supposed to have magic fundamentally, and like that wasn't something that was like super important to like necessarily how she interacted with the world, or like how she fit into it. Like, I know that she could fly, and that was like a big thing with her being able to make deliveries and stuff like that, but I mean, you could have replaced that with like a bike and it would have worked in like a similar way. So I feel like that was kind of a surprising element too, but I feel like maybe it's a symbolic choice of having a character who like actually has like possesses magic and putting them into a world that is very like urban and rooted in reality and stuff like that, and having them try to function in that, and losing some of their magic as they try to like fit into what they think that world represents and stuff. But I feel like it just wasn't as rich in world building as I'm used to Ghibli films being, especially coming off of like Spirited Away. But I still really like it's still just like a nice film to watch. I feel like out of all of that, like I wanted something that I could sit down and it would just be heartwarming, and it would just make me feel all the warm fuzzy feelings and just kind of be a nice experience. And that's exactly what it was. It was a beautiful film, had some great music in it. I love Gigi, and it was a good time. So I hope you enjoyed watching that film along with me. I'll put my Spirited Away reaction over here if you want to watch it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!